All right, guys. Good evening. How are you doing today? How was your day? Hope you're doing great. All right. Good evening. Um, Thank you for joining. If you're joining now, and if you're joining later. Okay, our guest is ready for us. But before I bring in my guest, I want to quickly make a quick introduction. By the way, please, if you can hear me, I want you to please let me know. If you can't hear me or if you can hear me, please, because I can't hear myself. All right, now this is Soul Food Embassy. I'm Kenny by name. I'm Kenny Diodeshola, and this is Soul Food Embassy. If you want to know more about Soul Food Embassy, just go to our website or go to our page to learn more. Now, we have a topic we are discussing today, and it is about mental health. I believe that there are things we don't know about our mental health. We know some things about our health, but when it comes to mental health, personally, I don't know much. So, and I believe that it affects the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act. It affects us, the way we walk, even the way we relate to others. So, and even in making some choices, because if you are not strong mentally, you may not be making a good choice. So, I have here with me a friend of mine, my beautiful my beautiful nurse. She's a registered nurse, and she's a mental health practitioner. Her name is Nurse Okeleye. So I'll be bringing her now because I don't want to waste much of our time today, because even me, I'm really stressed. So, do you please accept my request? Yeah. Hey, wow, finally. Wow. Finally.
Good evening,
Wow.
Mr. Kenny.
Can I see you? Wow. Is it really you? Hey,
Yeah, this is me.
wow. I'm so happy to see you today.
See me
So
here
happy to
too.
see your face. Thank you so much. Thank you for honoring my invitation. I really appreciate it. I'm really grateful. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much for having me, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, well, we don't have much viewers for now, but I am very sure that people will actually watch this video later. The last one we did, we had more than 2,000 people watch, after
Mm.
the event. So, but most of the time we don't have up to 10 live. So, but after the event, we have many people that will watch it. So the last time I checked, it was like more than 2,000 viewers. So,
Okay.
so don't be bothered if you don't have any live.
No. It's all right for documentative purposes.
Yeah.
Viewers of Soul Food Embassy will still get to benefit from this later.
Yes. Thank you. I believe that. Yeah. So, did I introduce you well? I said you
Oh
are a
yeah, you did
mental
justice
health,
to that.
or is there a name I should have call it? Maybe neuropsychic, Like, you
Yeah. Just
please,
so far the point is still
what's the best title? I don't know. How will I call it?
just for people to understand,
Um,
I'm a registered mental health nurse, and I'm a registered nurse as well.
okay, good, good, good. Thank you for that. All right. Should I leave you to what do
Of
you have
course,
for us
of course, of
tonight?
course. So today we are
All
talking
right.
about mental health in general, what it is and what it is not, which means I'll be talking about what mental health is in general. We'll talk about the misconceptions people have about mental health. I'll try to correct some of the myths, the common myths about mental health, and then I'll try to educate us a little bit about what mental health is, like the correct information about mental health. So in your introductions earlier, you mentioned something about, a lot of people don't know what mental health is and what it entails. And unfortunately, it is just very unfortunate because mental health is the core of our health, actually. There's a saying that goes that there's no health without mental health, which means mental
Hmm.
health is the main core that holds the other aspects of the health because you cannot function when the brain is not in the right space. You can't have a good physical, you can't say you have physical health when your mental health is in jeopardy. Do you understand? And it's just very funny how all other aspects of our health is also connected to our mental health. So they all work hand in hand. So the misconception people have a lot of people have about mental health is this: it's either this or that. It's either you are sane or you are insane. It's either you are fine or you are not fine. This is not true because in health we believe in something they call health continuum. It's an health illness continuum. It's like an equilibrium. It's like a plane on the triangular balance. I don't know how to explain that. It's just like an equilibrium, like what do they call the seesaw? You understand? So you can tilt towards health at some point and then tilt towards illness at some other point. So it's a continuum. It's not like you are either on one side or the other. You can be on the way towards health and you can be on the ways towards illness as well. So there's a sound bounce back. I don't know if you can adjust something. It's kind of affecting the feedback on
Okay.
this side.
Oh, so, can you hear me now?
The yeah, it's still very much there.
Oh, I'm coming. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Is
Okay,
it
no
still
more
there?
feedback. Yes, thank you. No, it's still there.
Oh, what are we going to do? I don't know. Maybe it's
I can hear
network.
myself over and over.
Really? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. No. Oh, can you remove the iPhone and put it back?
Okay.
I don't know.
I just did that. Let's wait a second and see if it's okay. No, it's still there. It's like it's repeating after like 2 seconds.
Oh, is it? Does it disturb you?
Yes, it's like I'm hearing myself and it's quite loud.
Okay, maybe you should remove the iPhone. You can just talk like
Okay,
that. Yes.
while I'm talking, I'll talk without the earpiece. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, like I was saying, sorry for the cut in transmission. So, mental health, just like general health, is on a continuum. There's a health and there's the illness part. So, it's possible for someone to be mentally okay, you are fine, but at the same time, you are tilting towards mental illness, which means you are not practicing safe mental health habits. You understand? Which means you're on the way to actually being mentally ill. Do you understand? And there are people who are, working daily, trying to practice safe mental hygiene, all of these things to tilt towards good mental health. Do you understand? Just like general health, where we can have someone who is functioning, is okay, But at the same time, you can still feel tired, you can feel stressed. Same thing happens in mental health too. You can still be functioning well, but at the same time, you are underneath very unhappy, mentally stressed, tilting a little bit towards, depression and other mental illnesses. So it is very possible for someone to be on that continuum, tilting towards either side. So there's nothing like someone is either insane or sane. We are all on a continuum, and mental illness can happen to just anybody. Nobody is immune to mental illness. It can happen to just anybody. Another misconception is mental illness is a symptom of weakness. Well, that is very, very untrue. People that come down with mental illness are not psychologically weak. That is not the truth. They are not weak in any way. Mental illness can be as a result of biological factors, could be as a result of environmental factors. They could have experienced some kind of trauma, or stress. Consistent stress can actually predispose someone to mental illness. So mental illness is a sign of weakness. When we see people that come down with mental illness, let's not see it as, oh, they're just being weak. It's because they don't have strong will. They can't will it off. Mental illness is not something you can say, God forbid, and then it will never happen to me. It's not possible. Nobody is immune to mental illness. Let's know that for a fact. Another thing is mentally ill people cannot handle everyday responsibilities and they cannot work. Well, that is very wrong. It's a big misconception that a lot of people have out there. The moment they find out someone has been mentally ill, they don't want to take them on a new job. They believe they cannot handle themselves. They believe the next thing is for them to be locked away and kept in the house because they can't function. That is quite unfair, because a lot of people that we see out there in big companies and in factories and stuff are battling with mental illness, one mental illness or the other, and they are still able to function because with medication and therapy, family support and everything, people are able to function well and go by their daily activities despite the presence of mental illness. Another misconception is that mental health problems cannot affect me because as a person, I feel I am okay. An individual can say, oh, God forbid, mental illness cannot like me. It cannot affect me. Mental illness, God forbid, I'm a very good Christian. God forbid, I'm a very strong Muslim. I love God. God loves me. I take care of myself. So mental illness cannot affect me. It is not something that anybody is immune to, like I mentioned earlier. It can affect just anybody at any point in time, depending on whatever we are exposed to, substance use, environmental factors, like I mentioned earlier, biological factors, family history of mental illness can predispose one to mental illness. So nobody is immune to mental illness. Another thing is that people believe, and that's a very big misconception, is that mentally ill people don't get well. There's no way you can actually be mentally ill and get 100% okay. This is very, very untrue. It's a misconception that the society needs to understand. We need to, take up this myth of our minds that people can actually get well from mental illness. Someone can break down with malaria today and tomorrow they are okay because the parasite is off their system. Just the same way the symptoms of mental illness can totally resolve with proper management. You understand, with medication, continuous therapy, like I said earlier, family support, society understanding, mental illness symptoms can be totally resolved, and such people can live well in the society and can be properly managed. Another misconception, let me just rush through the misconceptions so I don't waste so much time on it, is mental illness or mental health issues can never be normal. People mentally ill people cannot be normal after they have been exposed to the public, so to say, in quotes, market. People will believe, oh, the moment a mad person should enter market, sorry to use the word mad because I don't like to call my patients mad anyways, it's just mental illness. Someone that is mad, once they enter market, they are unable to get well and that is the end of it. This is not true. There's nothing attached to market and mental illness that connotes, not getting better. No, nothing of such can happen. I have seen patients that were taken from like the dirtiest places, patients that have been removed from market areas, from really, bad spaces, and of course they get better with medication, family support, the proper care they need, understanding. Of course they get better, they are able to be rehabilitated into the society. So how to curb all of these mental health stigmas and misconceptions is people that have experienced it, people that have at some point gone through therapy, people that have at some point experienced mental illness, when they feel confident enough to come and share with the public without feeling embarrassed. A lot of people will come to understand like, oh, so this so person has gone through this. I mean, we live in a society where nowadays we validate our feelings from what other people say. So by the time you hear people talk about, use medias like this, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram to share their story of, oh, how they've gone through this, how they've gone through that, and now they are fine. It will help a lot of other people to be able to understand and help them to cope better with, understanding what mental health is, what mental illness is, how the treatment is like. You understand? So the society at large will be able to accept more and understand more what mental health entails and what mental illness is. We should always try as much as possible to stop stigmatizing people that have gone through treatment or people that have at some point in time broken down with mental illness. Just like I said, nobody is immune to it, so we shouldn't see them as outcasts or, less of the human than we are because we are just fortunate to have not broken down with a mental illness at any point in our life. This will go a long way in helping their mental health. And we as people that we think we have not broken down with any mental illness before, we should try as much as possible to practice mental hygiene, which will include, proper sleep, good social interaction, good eating habits, general health habits as well. When you feel down, talk to somebody. A man shouldn't feel too manly enough to, want to show all the problems in the world. Even as a man, find someone to talk to. You feel like crying, cry a little bit. Practice everything in moderation, including eating, talking, sleeping. Everything should be done in moderation. This is what mental health hygiene entails. So I will actually want to rush through what mental health is, just in case you will have questions for me afterward. Mental health is just a general term that encompasses our, emotion, psychological, social well-being. It encompasses everything, our feelings, how we react to things. Mental health just encompasses everything that comes with, how our mind feels things. I'm trying to use like the common terms that people will understand. You understand? So mental health is just everything about feelings, our psychological well-being, our emotions. Oh, my light is off. Sorry about that. Our emotions and, okay, let me see if I can. Oh, this won't work. So, sorry for the light issues. I'd like to talk about the common symptoms that people would like to watch out for, things that could actually point to mental illness or change, like things you want to note when an individual is falling towards, the other side of the continuum, which is towards mental illness. You can see changes in their eating pattern, probably increase or reduction. I mean, notable changes. A child that had been feeding well before suddenly is unable to finish his meals, suddenly is not eating as much as he used to, or suddenly is eating too much than he used to. Because as little as food eating pattern could look to a lot of us, it is a major pointer to mental illness. A child that has been eating 3 times a particular portion, all of a sudden is asking for double portion, 3 times his normal portion, 4 times his normal portion, is starting to steal from the kitchen. It's as if, are we not feeding you well? You might want to ask that child, because turning to food might be a coping mechanism for some kids, for some adults. So you want to check, are you going through something? Is this stress? Is there any reason why you're actually, eating this much? Let's not just take it as it's an habit. Let's not just ignore little things like that. Reduction in their eating pattern could actually also point to, lack of willpower. They're just tired. They don't want to eat anything, because that might actually be pointing to mental illness. Something like depression sometimes can come with, reduction in appetite. Another thing is change in sleep pattern. For someone that actually sleeps the normal regular hours, which is 6 hours a day, suddenly is sleeping 10 hours. Is sleeping almost all day. They don't want to get out of bed. You want to, it's a pointer. I'm not saying it is mental illness. It is just one of those things that we look out for, that, things that will make me as a mental health practitioner worried about someone. Like, oh, is there anything? Why are you sleeping this much? Is something wrong? Are you on medications? You want to see if the person is not, struggling with depression or anything traumatizing has happened to the person. If the individual is starting to sleep less, someone that is supposed to sleep for 6 hours is just sleeping and turning on the bed, just less than 2 hours sleep overnight. You want to check up on that person, and as little as sleep is to a lot of people, because you're able to lie down on your bed and you sleep. Some people are unable to do that. They find it very difficult. They are struggling with sleep issues. Sleep issues is one of the major causes of mental illness. It's one of the main symptoms you see in a lot of mental illnesses. You see people unable to sleep for days, for a long time, just struggling with about 2-3. Some people say it's their sleeping pattern. I'm able to function with 3 hours of sleep a day. These things are just poor mental hygiene. Of course, you might be able to function now, but at the same time, over time, you are, the person is likely to break down, come down with one thing or the other mentally, because you are putting constant stress on your brain cells. Another thing is you want to see the person's energy level. Someone that has been really active, probably at work, a child that has been very, all of a sudden is becoming, slow, apathetic. They are not interested in things. They don't want to get involved in activities. This particular man that has been very active at work, all of a sudden is just so lethargic and is just there. You need to think, if it's someone that has been, calm, his normal personality is just a calm person, not because the person is sick. All of a sudden, he's very hyperactive, always jumping from one conversation to the other, too extravagant. Their mode of dressing has changed. Someone that likes to dress, kind of casual, all of a sudden is wearing so much heavy makeup, color on color, bogus hairstyles. I'm not saying these things are signs of mental illness. I'm just saying behavioral changes like this can be pointers to mental illnesses. You want to see all these behavioral changes in energy level, like I mentioned earlier. Someone is becoming overly active, so active that it takes them away from their normal activities. They are supposed to be at work working, but they find themselves unable to settle down and work because they are so busy with things they shouldn't be busy with, and it is taking too much of their time. They are so engrossed in other things. It could be activities like washing their hands, which is a pointer to one of the mental illness we call obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Do you understand? The person can be so engrossed in an activity as little as checking if the door is locked. They keep checking in again and again. Oh, I just want to check if the door is locked. But you checked the other time. I just want to check again just to be sure. I just want to check again just to be sure. But you checked about 3 times earlier. My mind just said I didn't lock it properly. That could be a pointer to something more than what we think it is. It might be just, they're overly engrossed with, hygienic issues, like, oh, did you wash your hand before touching me? They get so worried about, oh, you're going to give me a disease. They wash their hand a lot. They practice this hygienic thing over and over and over and over again. It gets to a point where, we as their friends, their work partners should be worried for them and, of sorry about my network. This is a major pointer. It's a major symptom in mental illness. Perception is how we see things, hear things, feel things, taste things. These are like our 5 major senses: our sight, our ear, our nose, our tongue, and our skin, of course. When people start complaining of seeing things that other people don't see, they now hear what other people don't hear. They smell what is not there. They taste what is not. They feel what is not. all of a sudden you are with a friend of yours who's saying, oh, there are three people standing there, they're talking about me, and you can only see one person. You want to make sure is the person on substance? How long has this been on? It could be something they hear, it could be something they feel, or something is crawling on my skin. I feel a peppery sensation. I feel this kind of sensation. I feel that kind of sensation. It could be pointed out to a lot of things, way more than what we think it ordinarily is. Another thing is delusion, just holding on to a particular belief so strongly that nothing else will change your mind. You have someone who is constantly suspicious of someone else. This person just has something against me. I've seen him in my dreams. It's just, things like this could be pointers to mental health. Let's not just
Hmm.
ignore. Let's not think it's all spiritual. Let's not just, use our church mind to think about everything. No, sometimes it is more than that. Let's not ignore all of these little things. Another misconception that I forgot to mention earlier is children cannot have mental illness.
Hmm?
A lot of children are battling with mental illnesses, symptoms of upcoming mental illnesses that their parents don't know. They think it is just pure stubbornness. They think it is the devil. They think it is village people. They think it's family issues. Sometimes it is more than those things. Sometimes it is more than, God forbid, sorry to use the Yoruba word. It is way more than these things. Children actually do battle with mental illnesses. Children can come down, they can break down with mental illnesses. And not just, the common schizophrenia, depression, and all of this. Those things are common as well, but other mental illnesses could, start from childhood. Let's not ignore all these things that I've mentioned earlier, your child's sleeping pattern, their feeding pattern, their activity changes, behavioral change. Let's just always be cognizant of all of these things. It's very, very important. So, like I have mentioned earlier, mental health, when we try to stay on a healthy side of the continuum, is going to be very good for us. When we practice safe mental health hygiene, we sleep properly, we eat properly, we try to develop good coping mechanisms. We go through stress and then we take time to rest, pull back from the general activities of the day, and you take time to reflect and relax, let your body recuperate. It's going to be very helpful. But for people that have actually unfortunately fallen towards the illness part of the continuum, it is good if you actually seek help at the appropriate time. There's no shame in seeking help for your mental health. People still find it very difficult to say they want to walk into a psychiatric hospital or to walk into a psychologist's office to go talk to somebody. There's no shame in these things. We need to understand that as a man, there's no big deal if you seek to talk to somebody. There's no shame if you seek to talk to a professional and you want to just cry. You just want to tell the person your life problem and just cry. Not because maybe the person has money to give you or anything to take your problems away, but it takes away part of the body when you're able to share, especially with a professional. So we should normalize this whole, taking care of our mental health just as much as we take care of our, physical health. We go for immunizations, we go to take care of, malaria, typhoid, and other things. We should normalize taking care of our mental health just as much as we take care of our physical health. Practice safe, hygienic mental health practices, like I mentioned earlier. Understand that medications are important if you have been diagnosed with a mental illness. Take medications as prescribed, go for your follow-up visits. We should normalize the idea of going for therapies when we think we've gone through something traumatic. If you think a child has experienced something and they are not dealing with it properly before it becomes a problem for them in the nearest future, let them go through therapy. A child that lost a friend, something as little as losing a friend, losing the parents, or losing the loved one, and you think they are not coping with it well, they are not grieving properly, take them to therapy. Let them deal with it at that time before it becomes a problem for them in the future. As adults, you probably lost a business, you are dealing with something, it's overwhelming for you. Talk to somebody, don't feel ashamed, walk into a therapist office and, book yourself a session or two, and they'll help you cope with all of these things. Don't lock up like the general word people will use. Don't just lock up. Locking up is keeping them for later. things will come to, might be in your subconscious. You might not even know these are the things affecting you. They're just issues from the past that we have locked up, and then they will just, come up later when our coping mechanisms are now down. Do we understand? So let's just normalize all of this, going for medication, going for therapy, accepting people with mental health with love and taking care of them with love. That also goes a very, very long way in helping to rehabilitate people that are struggling with mental health issues back into the society. I don't know if I have talked too much, if I have talked too fast, if you have gotten anything that I said. I don't know.
Wow. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Oh, all right. Does the network still interfere? Like, is it normal now?
Yes, I'm still hearing a feedback like after 5 seconds or thereabout.
All right, we'll manage that. Wow, you've really, really spoken well. Wow, wow, wow. I didn't know how, like, I don't know, almost 90% of everything you're saying, I don't know. Wow, wow. You really amazed me tonight. Wow, I'm amazed. All right, before I ask my question,
Thank you.
are you done? Can I ask question now?
Yes, yes, yes. I thought it's going to be a 30 minute second, so I just rushed through everything that I have
Seriously, it's like you shouldn't stop because I'm really, really enjoying it. You are really loaded, like you are loaded. You're loaded. All right,
Thank
some of the
you.
questions I wrote down before you've answered some of them. Now,
Okay.
the question I want to ask, I have two or three questions. One of first one is that now, assuming I notice someone, all these symptoms that you mentioned now, if I notice that someone, maybe my friend or someone beside me is, maybe I notice something strange, maybe one of the maybe the behavioral change, like you said, change in sleep pattern, or something. What can I do? Like, wouldn't it be like, what are you saying? Are you saying that I'm sick?
Yeah. 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 Of
What
course, we will be,
are
we
you?
will be,
Are
we
you?
should be careful in our choice of words. Yeah, we should be careful in our choice of words to people so
Okay,
as not
like
to,
I will just tell them,
stigmatize
don't.
them and so as not to make them go withdraw into their shell and not want to seek help. Um, if I have a friend, if I'm not a mental health practitioner and I have a friend who is struggling with sleep, who is struggling with self-image problem, who is struggling with their feeding pattern, who's struggling with all of these things that I've mentioned earlier, the best is, sorry, have you noticed you changed? Have you noticed you've not been sleeping well as much as you used to? Or have you noticed you have been eating more than you used to? Is everything all right? You're not outrightly telling the person something is wrong with you. I think you should go and look for help. You are asking like you genuinely care. Have you noticed something is wrong with the way you've been acting lately? I just noticed because you are very calm, but lately you've been so really hyperactive. You've had a lot of energy. Is everything all right? Oh, you've been really cold. Your usual self is always very active and but you've been really cold lately. Is everything okay? Is there something you want to talk about? If you don't want to talk to me, of course, I can introduce you to someone that you can talk to. I have therapist friend. Oh, have you heard about going for therapy? Those things might not come. That would not sound harmful, like coming out and to say, do you know somebody told me these things are signs of mental illness? You should go and look for help. Oh, yeah, that would actually, you know, that might sound somehow to
All
people
right,
that don't want to seek help.
that reminds me. How much does it cost to see a mental therapist or consulting someone? Like, is it free? Can I just walk into a psychiatrist hospital, or I want to do a mental checkup? I understand a medical checkup now. It's mental checkup. Is there something like that? Like, I want to
Yes,
do.
yes, yes.
Or so
There are test
is it?
form.
Is there a cost? Like, is there something to pay for it, or is it free? Because no,
I really wish
yes.
this country
The
has gotten
question
to that
is
point.
now. The question is because if I'm sick now, if I'm sick, maybe I'm having malaria. Normally, I know I'll see a doctor. They will prescribe drugs or injections. I know I will pay. But now I'm going for consulting. Maybe what they will give me is advice, or they will just sympathize, or so they will just, oh, okay, something that doesn't have maybe I don't need to spend anything. Now the consulting, does it cost something? Like, do I have to pay for it?
Yes, depends on where you seek the consultation from. We have government-owned hospitals, we have private hospitals of different levels, just according to what you can afford. Um, we have in Lagos, for example, we have the neuropsychiatric hospital, we have, the psychiatric unit of general hospitals as well. Of course, these things don't come free. I wish they were free, like, the government has promised us free else. I wish they were truly, truly free and we don't have to pay for these things. But unfortunately, you have to pay. You get the services at a cost, at a particular cost. But the prices might now differ from public health services to private health sectors. You understand? But if the money is the reason why people don't want to seek help, of course there are, the basic things you can still get for free. You get to talk to a doctor, a psychiatrist, who can still advise you on what to do. There are medications that are not so expensive if the person's situation would need medications. So of course, we as medical practitioners consider the financial aspect as well. When we know these things are not, we can go for the cheaper brand. We can go for all of these things, at least to help the person within his own financial capabilities. And if it's something they can afford, of course, by all means, take all the help you need at whatever cost it might entail. Take all the help you need. But of course, there are public health sectors that offer mental health services.
Okay. Thank you for that. Now I think I have one more question. You talk about too much sleep on sleeping less. Now, okay, how can we say that that is a signal to mental health? Now, I think it's something like laziness. Can we say is laziness? Now, sleeping less, can we say is maybe you are sleeping less, you're working, you're too occupied, you don't have time to sleep. Instead of sleeping 6 or 7 hours, you're sleeping 4 hours or 3 hours. So someone is now saying that you're having mental issues. So what is the demarcation for that? How can we
Okay,
clarify?
so the things that I mentioned are not categorically, if it is less than 4 hours, it means the person is mentally ill. If it is more than 6 hours, it means the person is mentally ill. That is not what I said. That is not what I meant. And I hope people don't misunderstand it. Um, when you have a usual pattern, have a
Huh.
regular pattern of sleeping 5 hours, of sleeping 6 hours, and then all of a sudden, this person is sleeping 10 hours. All of a sudden, this person is sleeping the entire day. Someone that usually would step out of their house to get active is staying indoor and lying on the bed all day. Of course, there's a problem. If someone that normally would sleep at least 6 hours before is now finding it difficult to sleep for 3 hours, of course, there is a problem. I'm not saying categorically for all people that sleep less than 4 hours or more than 6 hours are mentally ill. No. It's just you need to understand their usual pattern, and then if there's a change in the usual pattern. And in that same light, there is something that is called basic. An average adult is expected to sleep for about 6 hours in 24 hours, especially night sleep, 6 hours at least. So as much as we are, we want to be active, we are hustlers, we are hustling, Lagos life is hard and everything. We need to find a way of creating balance, because these things over time might come to affect our mental health. Let's always put that in mind.
Well, I guess something that is very key to me when you say people can get well totally from mental illness, it really changed my perception about mental health issues. Because once I know that you're mentally sick, that is the eyes that so no. Once you like, if you do anything contrary to normal like this, I know, I know. It's okay, I know. So, but that really changed that notion about it. We don't need to stigmatize people because of mental health, mental illness, and nobody is immune to mental illness. I got that too. I think I have some contributions from. Can you see the live chat?
Yes.
Okay. I actually have my boss watching me right now, Dr. Deji Isu. He said, I love this lady. I would like to connect with her. He's in UK.
Okay.
So I'm really glad he's watching. He made some comments, said, say no to discrimination. Okay, he said family story could predispose one to mental illness or mental health. Symptoms of mental health can be relieved. Mental health, say no to MAD. Okay. People with MH can get better with right medication, treatment, and rehabilitation. He says society can stop stigmatization. Okay. And a lot like that. All right. Okay. Oh, he really commented though. Okay, he said sleep issue is one of the. I can't see you again though. He said
Yeah,
sleep
my light
issue
network
is
is going to be back
one
on.
of the major causes of or signs of mental health. Energy level, not interested in activities, reduce performance at work. Okay, he said behavioral changes could be sign of mental illness. Thank you so much, Dr. Deji Yusuf. I'm really grateful for you coming on board tonight. Thank you so much. All right, please, guys, if you have any question for our guest, I will like you to drop it. And if you can drop it now or later, I'll be glad to answer it. Thank you so much. Let me check, please. Let me check if I have another question for you. Okay. You talk about. Sorry, am I taking too much time? Sorry, my time is up. I know. I'm sorry.
No
Just give me
problem.
5 minutes. He said eating too much. Eating too much. Like, can it? I don't understand that one. Like, eating too much. Can we tag it to mental health or okay? I eat too
Eating,
much.
eating too much. Eating too
Yes,
much.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Or eating less.
Mm.
Like you say, is a signal.
Mm.
Please,
It can be a
can you
pointer.
please? Yeah, is a pointer. Can you please expatiate more? I don't really understand that because someone can eat
Okay.
too much. Like I can decide tomorrow now to be eating much. Yes. So
Like I said while explaining the
food.
sleep issue, is what this the pointers that I listed are not categorically, yes, the moment this person is behaving this way, it means this thing. Do you understand? I'm just saying there are things you should watch out for if someone is, exhibiting these things. You should, take closer look and be more careful with that person. So in case of food, um someone that has a very normal appetite. Me, for example, there's a particular amount of portion I take for breakfast, there's a particular amount of portion I take for lunch, and there's a particular amount of portion I take for dinner. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to eat lesser. It has gone on for a day, for 2 days, for 3 days. It's becoming my usual pattern of feeding. Of course, the people around me will ask me, is everything okay? You've not been eating well. At the same time, some people might use food as a coping mechanism. They are going through stress. I don't know if you've heard anything about people stress eating. They are going through stress and they are literally stuffing their face with food. They just want to eat anything and everything. Not because their stomach is asking for all that, but because they are stressed and that is their own coping mechanism. They're able to release stress by eating. So when this goes on for a long time, you want to check if the person is experiencing anything that is stressing them. Might be work stress, might be school stress, might be loss of a family member, might be loss of a friend. It could be anything. There are just things you should that will make you raise an eyebrow and want to check more on people. If there are all of these behavioral changes, might not necessarily like mean somebody is mentally ill, but there are things you should check people when they exhibit these things. Check more with them.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nurse
Thank
Okeleye.
you.
How you doing, Sola? I hope
Thank
if
you for
we
having
call you next
me.
time, I hope you answer us.
Of course, no problem. Of course,
And
definitely.
please, do you do consulting or I don't know this of you. Like if I have someone that needs a mental health practitioner to discuss, can I refer or like
Yes, there are hospitals that I know, that there are therapists that I know. There's an hospital that I work with, and we really do an amazing job. Of course, you can refer to me, and then I would refer as appropriate, according to what exactly the person needs.
okay, can you do virtual consultation?
Virtual conversation is very possible as well.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much. So
Thank you. Thank you.
let me let you go now. Have a wonderful night
All right.
rest. All right,
Thank you,
bye.
and you too. Have a good night. Bye.
Wow. All right, guys. I'm really, really excited today. Wow, I've really learned a lot. Learned a lot about my mental health. Hey, things I don't know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a killer, yeah. All right, like I said before, if you have any question, you can drop it now or later. Please, if you're watching this video now or later, I want you to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and if possible, help me share it. Someone needs to watch this video. Someone, don't be selfish. Someone needs to watch it. Click on the share button and start this live watch time on Facebook, and share to groups. Please share as many times as possible. Let this video get to people, reach out to them. It won't cost you anything. All right, we have another person coming next week, this Saturday. All right, see you. My name is Kenny. I will hope to see you again next week. Have a good night. Bye.